All right, welcome. In this explainer, we're jumping right into Dr. Sudheendra S G's research material on educational technology. And this is all about giving you, the modern educator, some really powerful and practical tools you can actually start using in your classroom like tomorrow. So let's start with a challenge that every single one of us faces today, just the sheer amount of information out there. It's like trying to take a sip from a fire hose, right? It's coming at us, it's coming at our students. But here's the key idea from Dr. SG's work. Our job isn't to just point students at that fire hose. It's to help them build a system to manage it. Okay, let's really break this down. Because just having information, that isn't the same as learning. Real learning is an active process. It means students have to engage with the material, they need to get feedback on what they're doing, and then they have to adapt. Our role is to be the architect of that whole experience. So how do we actually do that? How do we build that system? Well, Dr. SG's work gives us this awesome, practical three-part toolkit. These are kind of like the main pillars for building a more effective, tech-savvy classroom. And here's our roadmap: active engagement, personalized pathways, and data-informed teaching. And you'll see how each one builds on the next. So let's dive into that first tool and talk about how to make learning something students do, not just something they watch. All right, tool number one, active engagement. This is all about transforming learning from something passive, like just sitting and watching a lecture video, into something dynamic, where the student is really in the driver's seat. We all use video, right? But its real power gets unlocked when we hand over the controls. When a student can set their own pace, pause the video to think, maybe even predict what's coming next, and then immediately practice what they just saw, they're not just passengers anymore. They're co-pilots on their own learning journey. And the best part is that these are simple things you can start doing right away. Adding chapter markers so students can jump around? Easy. Popping in a quick multiple choice question every few minutes? Totally doable. These small tweaks can make a huge difference in engagement. But what about providing feedback, especially when you have a big class? How you scale that? Well, this is where a hybrid model is a total game changer. You let technology do what it's great at, like auto-grading quizzes. That frees you up to do what humans are best at, giving that nuanced, thoughtful feedback through quick spot checks and guided peer reviews. Okay, let's move on to our second tool, which is personalized pathways. So once we have our students actively engaged, the next big step is to start tailoring the learning journey to fit their individual needs. At the very core of this idea of personalization is something called an intelligent tutoring system, or an ITS. Seriously, just think of it like having a digital one-on-one tutor for every single student. It works because it understands two key things: the subject matter itself, including all the common mistakes students make, and it also keeps track of what each individual student knows and what they're struggling with. And here's a perfect example of how an ITS thinks. For a basic algebra problem like this, the system knows the correct way to solve it. But here's the brilliant part. It also has a whole library of common mistakes, what the research calls buggy rules. So it knows a student might try to subtract the 3 instead of the 7. It doesn't just see a wrong answer, it understands why it's wrong. So when the system spots that buggy rule happening, it doesn't just flash a big red X. Instead, it gives them this hint ladder. It starts with just a little nudge. If that doesn't work, it gets a bit more specific. And only as a last resort does it show the full answer. It's giving just enough help to get them unstuck and moving forward again. And all of this interaction, all these hints, they generate a ton of data, which leads us perfectly into our third and final tool, data-informed teaching. It's about using all that information to become an even more responsive and effective teacher. Now, this is maybe the most important principle of all. The whole point of looking at this data is to support our students, not to sort them into boxes or label them. And we do that by looking at a few different things together: their behavior, like what they're clicking on, their performance, like their scores, and even their affect, which is basically their emotional state. Are they asking for help a lot? So just imagine having a dashboard that looks something like this. It's not just a gradebook. It shows you patterns. A student who's stalled isn't failing. They just might need a quick, supportive message from you. Or someone who's fast but error-prone. Maybe they just need a reminder to review a concept from last week. It lets us make our help really personal and timely. But, and this is a really big but, using data comes with a ton of responsibility. We have to be smart about it. Just because a student spends a lot of time on a page doesn't mean they're learning. We have to watch out for bias in the algorithms, and most importantly, we have to be completely transparent and ethical with our students about their data. Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds like a lot, but this isn't about flipping a switch and changing everything overnight. The research is super clear on this. Small, steady wins are way more effective than one giant launch that fizzles out. So here's a super practical 30, 60, 90-day plan you can adopt from Dr. SG's research. In the first month, just add a few chapter markers to one video. That's it. By day 60, maybe you try out one peer review assignment. By day 90, you're just starting to look at the data once a week. It's all about making small, sustainable progress. Because at the end of the day, if you take one thing away from all this, it should be this. The point of great educational technology is not to push out more content. It's to create better, more meaningful interactions for every single student. So I'll leave you with this question. What's one small change you'll make this week to do just that?